Just ahead on American Black Journal, thousands of children in Michigan are living in foster care, and there's a need for more foster parents. We'll talk about how you can change a child's life. Plus, it's time to take control of your health. We'll give you the details on medical screenings taking place across Metro Detroit. So stay with us.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. May is National Foster Care Awareness Month, and the Children's Center in Detroit is planning a community-wide campaign to show support for foster care. In addition to bringing attention to the issues surrounding foster care, the agency will celebrate the families who shelter and care for at-risk kids. The numbers are alarming. More than 14,000 Michigan children live in foster care. In fact, every 28 seconds, a child is placed in foster care in this state. Nationally, less than 2% of former foster care children go on to earn a bachelor's degree. And kids in foster care are 5 to 10 times more likely to enter the juvenile justice system. Joining me now to talk about the needs of foster care children is Dina Fisher, who is the head of child welfare at the Children's Center. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thank you.
Boy, those numbers are absolutely eye-popping. 14,000 kids in the state.
Yeah, and while the numbers are going down because we're doing a better job of preventing kids from coming into care, at the same time, the children that are coming into care have experienced more trauma.
They're harder to place.
They're harder to place.
Yeah.
They tend to be teenagers, large family groups, and it's very difficult to find foster parents to be able to cope with that.
Yeah, I think that's sort of an interesting question. Is this a problem that is better addressed on the front end, where you prevent kids from falling into the foster care system in the first place, or is it easier to address on the back end by getting them with families, or at least getting them the support that they need to become productive citizens?
Well, I think it's both, and you can't separate one from the other so much. You have to be able to treat the kids as they are experiencing what they're experiencing,
right,
with a combination of support for the families, which Michigan's done a much better job in providing those frontline supports for the families to keep kids in the home that can be kept there safely, but are just experiencing issues because of poverty and stress on the families. At the same time, you have to have those very good foster parents available to help those kids where the issues can't be resolved. We also do an excellent job now of finding relatives that can provide foster care for the children so that the kids can stay in the biological family.
Right.
So they're still in foster care, but they haven't been necessarily removed from their parents.
Right. What would you say are some of the main drivers of sort of the dissolution of these families? Is it economic? Is it social, cultural? I would imagine it's a mix of
right,
all of those things, but what causes families to get to the point where, this is the most drastic thing a state can do, which is to say, we've got to remove your children from your home. They are not safe with you.
Right.
What causes that to be the case?
Well, I think there's three major factors that go into having to remove a child: poverty, substance abuse, and unresolved mental illness. And I think any one of those things on their own we can deal with supports,
yeah,
right? But when you have a combination of poverty and mental illness that perhaps isn't treated properly, or a combination of poverty and substance abuse, it often becomes overwhelming. The parent has so many issues that they have to address that they can't do it while still caring for the children.
Right, right. I know that the Department of Human Services here in Michigan is under a federal consent decree to do better by the kids who wind up in foster care, both in terms of how they're cared for while they're there, and in terms of moving them past that stage to something else. Sometimes it seems like I read those reports and it seems like we're headed in the right direction. Other times I read those reports and I think we're
right,
spinning our wheels.
Well, you know, it's such a large system to try and change. And you have private agencies, you have DHS, and you have the judicial system.
Right.
And so all three of those partners have to work together, and sometimes that's very difficult. On the other hand, a lot of the changes that have happened because of the consent decree have been really positive for the lives of the kids. You know, when I started doing foster care 30 years ago, it wasn't unusual to have 35 or 40 kids on your caseload. Now you're not allowed to have more than 15.
Right.
So those
35 or 40 on your
yeah, it was
caseload.
not unusual.
So, and you're supposed to make visits with all of those kids, right?
Right. And, you know, we've had many more visits that we now are able to make because we have the time. We only have the 15 kids. Now, there's a significant amount of paperwork, of course.
Yeah.
But in addition to that, you have more time to spend with the child by themselves, getting to really know that child and being able to treat them with the foster family together to make the child healthy again.
Yeah. When you are visiting these homes, I mean, I think, you know, we're all familiar with the high-profile cases where this goes terribly wrong, right? A kid is in foster care or returned to a home and something really tragic happens. I would imagine, though, that obviously those are rare cases, but what are the things that you see when you go and visit these homes normally?
The foster homes?
Sure. Yeah.
Well, one of the things you have to do is you have to take the child and meet with them individually. And that way, if they have anything that they want to tell you, they can tell you that in the privacy of their bedroom or so on. But foster homes we try and keep foster homes in the community that the child has been in.
Child's from.
Right. You know, it's very difficult for a child to be taken from their family. If we can keep them in their little league area, if we
Sure.
can keep them in their school, if we can keep them even in their church, it's much less traumatic
Stability
to the child.
is the staple
Right.
of child rearing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we look for all of those things, and we are, you know, mandated now to make unexpected drop-in visits on the foster families,
Right.
which is a fairly new thing in the last couple of years, where as we train our foster parents, we teach them if we come to your door, you have to open it.
Right.
You know, there
Right.
is none of
You
this.
can't
yeah.
come back later.
Yeah, you know, I'm busy.
Right.
So when we try and be,
You're not coming at midnight, right?
not normally,
They're
but-
supposed to be able to, you know.
Right, but the idea is that the foster family is aware that they are held to higher expectations
Sure.
than the normal family would
Yeah,
be.
yeah. You obviously are trying to encourage more people to do this.
Absolutely.
I have to say, though, that when I think of foster care and foster kids, the first word that comes to my mind is trouble, right? That taking in a kid like this means that it's just going to be more difficult. Tell me why that's wrong.
Children that come into foster care have had very traumatic experiences,
Sure.
and they do have issues that they have to deal with. But at the Children's Center, we're very lucky because we have therapists available from birth to age 18 right there on campus. You don't have to take them to a psychiatrist over here and a therapist over there and a medical doctor over here. It's all right
here.
on campus.
That's
And
very key, yeah.
Our foster care therapists work very closely with the foster care caseworker so that they all know exactly what's going on with the child and there's no miscommunication. And that if a child needs a higher level services, let's say outpatient therapy isn't enough, well, the home-based services are right upstairs, so we can just move them
can
into
do
that
that,
higher
yeah.
level, more intensive services to provide that support to the foster family that they need. In addition to that, for the foster family, the medical clinic is right there on our campus. The dentist is right there on the campus. We have tutors and mentors that come right there to the campus. The clothing closet is there, so that the foster parents who work for the Children's Center really are able to get all the child's needs serviced right there on our main campus,
Right.
which is very helpful to them because they feel more supported by the entire agency.
It's resources, right?
Right. And it's very important that they don't feel like they're out there by themselves.
Sure. So May is a big month
Yes, it is.
for this issue. Tell me about some of the things that will happen or that people might notice.
Well, the main thing that we're going to be doing is on April 29th, we're having a ribbon tying ceremony. And we're going to be tying blue ribbons on the lampposts and the trees, up and down Woodward, starting at Ferry Park, going about 2 miles.
Okay.
And the blue ribbons really represent Foster Care Awareness Month. And it's to make people, as they drive by, when they look at the blue ribbon, think about, could I be a foster parent? What would I need to do in order to be able to be a foster parent? We're going to have as many volunteers as we can get. We'd love to have a couple of hundred helping us tie those ribbons on. And we encourage anybody who would like to come to just show up. We'll be on the corner of Woodward and Alexandrine at 10 a.m. on the 29th, just tying ribbons, and we'll have some speakers there to talk about the need for foster parents. We're also going to be doing some things for our foster parents, a dinner to honor them and just to thank them for the hard work that they do.
I know this just because I know some folks who have done it, but it tends to be that the people who do this do it over and over and over again, and over time they become these sort of vessels, I guess, for these kids in transition. I mean, these are people who really step up when they do.
You know, people that want to do foster care, it's really a calling. It's not really it's not a job. It's not something you can do in your spare time. The kids need a lot of care, and they need a lot of help to feel safe. And so people who come into foster care do it because they know that they want to help heal a child. And as the child heals, then the parent is healing. And as the child and parent heal and they can come back together, now you have a healthier family in your community, which means that that healthier family then is making your community healthier. So people who are going into foster care understand that their job is to create a healthier child, which is ultimately going to help everybody.
And it's making a difference. I mean, it's making a tremendous sacrifice on your part to make a difference for somebody else.
And it does require sacrifice. You know, we don't minimize the amount of time and effort it takes to help a child who's been very traumatized heal from that. But it's also very rewarding when you see a child who came to you very frightened, very angry, very frustrated with their life, become healthy and open and happy and able to go back into their community and now become a productive member. Rather than continue to be in the system.
That's the payoff. That's for everybody, not just that family.
And people who are afraid to come into foster care, they'll tell me all the time, I would not be able to say goodbye. I would be so sad. And you are sad. If you're good at being a foster parent, you're going to be sad when the child leaves.
You're sad when they leave. But
it's worth it because the child is happier with their family, and you've been a part of making society as a whole better.
Well, it's great work that you guys are doing, and good luck in May.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Just ahead on American Black Journal, we'll tell you how to take the first step toward a healthier lifestyle. That's next, right after this look at some important moments in Detroit's Black history.
I'm Ken Coleman with a look back at African American life in Detroit. This week in 1942, Roy H. Lightfoot, owner of the B&C Club and Paradise Valley's first mayor, died at the age of 46. In 1989, the Detroit Lions selected Barry Sanders of Oklahoma State University as their first-round National Football League draft pick. And in 1989, Ken Cockrell Sr., the charismatic attorney and former city council member, died after suffering a heart attack. He was 50 years old. These are significant events this week in Detroit's Black history, taken from the book On This Day, African American Life in Detroit.
Every spring, the United Health Organization offers free and low-cost medical screenings with help from its community partners. The initiative is called Project Healthy Living. As many as 12,000 people are served at sites in Detroit and 7 Michigan counties. The campaign began in March and runs through May 17th. Participants can be screened for serious illnesses such as obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, and heart disease. Here to talk more about Project Healthy Living is the Executive Director of the United Health Organization, Ifeatio Johnson. Welcome back to American Black Journal.
Thank you, Steve.
You were just here. How can you get so many guest spots on this show?
It's because you're so wonderful.
That's right. Maybe it's because you're so wonderful. You were here last year talking about the Affordable Care Act.
Yes, and we're doing
people
a lot with that still.
Signed up, and turns out we got much for, I mean, I can remember us sitting here fretting about, people's hesitancy, reluctance to sign up for insurance, and the initial numbers look pretty decent,
They're
right?
very good. And well over the 7 million that they were shooting for.
That's right.
And actually right now, the Affordable Care Act has expanded it's what we call the Medicaid expansion has
Sure.
opened up now. Unfortunately, it didn't open up until after the marketplace closed.
Right.
But a lot of folks who did not qualify before can now come on and get what's almost free health coverage.
Sure.
And so if you are unemployed, or you are actually if you're a person whose income is below about $16,000 for a single person,
Right.
you should come back
You qualify.
and get that insurance coverage that you need. And it includes things like dental and vision and so much more.
Right.
And
Right,
it's
which for families
tremendous.
is, that's just a life changer. I actually know some people who have, for the first time in their lives,
Yes.
been able to get insurance,
Right.
and that's a part of the. I feel like it's a part of the Affordable Care Act story that we don't hear as much as the people who are, understandably upset that they're paying higher premiums or that they've got higher out-of-pocket costs.
For a lot of folks, they just needed a little bit more help to weed through how to get
Sure.
the lower premiums.
Right.
But in November, if they don't like what they have, they'll have the opportunity to go
You
back
do
and
something
try it
else.
again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they'll find probably better
Yeah,
deals at
right.
that point.
So tell me more about the screenings that you guys have.
Oh,
been
we're doing all kinds of things. We've been all over Southeast Michigan, and we do this every year in the spring and in the fall. And we are looking this year at playing around a little bit more with new technologies. We've got a couple of new machines that we're using, one that deals with pain management. That's wonderful.
Huh.
If you have aches and pains, it's hard to beat. It also actually helps with circulation and will actually help reverse diabetic neuropathy, which is where people lose feeling in their hands or feet and things of that sort.
Sure.
And often it leads to amputations. And the machine that we're using now with regular use has been shown in a study with 88 people. They were able to reverse the need for amputation in 85 of them.
Right. Right.
The other machine is a 3D body analyzer, and it's great because you connect up electrodes to hands, feet, and head, and something very similar to a pulse oximeter for folks who are familiar with that.
Sure.
And then we do readings, and it checks 120 different biomarkers. And so, in other words, 120 different things going on in your body.
Yeah. Right.
And it checks your gastrointestinal system, your cardiovascular system, your neurological system, your hormones, your BMI, so many things all at once. And in about 5 minutes, it gives you a readout of all these things going on in your body.
Right.
It makes recommendations on additional tests that you should possibly have, and helps you take some information to your physician to look at some things that might have gone unnoticed before.
Right, and that's the whole point of this, right? Is to get people the sort of diagnostic looks that they may not be getting normally.
Well, this year I'm actually trying to coin a new phrase. I'm going from outreach now to inreach,
Okay.
and I'm thinking that part of the biggest problem that we face as a community is the fact that we aren't in a position to take more responsibility for our own health. And with the Affordable Care Act kicking in, which will give us access to more physicians and better care, and the ability to do health screenings that lets us find out what's going on, and then the very important component of education, finding out about what we're eating, what we're doing, how we're sleeping, the importance of activity in our lives. All those things make us more responsible for our own health. And it's really strange to me that we do all these things for our cars, but
Right.
we don't do it for ourselves.
Right. You take your car in regularly to get the oil changed and to get the things looked
Right,
at.
and you know more about your car. You know when it needs gas. You know when it needs an oil change.
Right.
You know when the sparks aren't firing or whatever is going on. It's clicking, so I need to take it in. We don't do that with our own bodies.
Right.
We also feed things to our bodies that aren't good
That
for
we
us.
shouldn't,
Yeah,
right.
we know we shouldn't put sugar in our gas tank, but we don't know about putting sugar in our tank. So we're setting ourselves up for a lot of failures. Part of the problem is that we don't know what's in what we're eating and there's so many places where there are hidden fats and
Sure.
sugars and salts. And some of the foods that we're eating really should come with warning labels. You know, just like cigarettes.
Yeah,
You know,
right,
this could be hazardous to your
right,
health.
Right, but that's actually a sort of controversial idea that the government ought to be telling us what to eat, right?
Well, yes, it is controversial, but we do it for our car.
Yeah, right.
We make
right.
sure that the gas that we put in the tank meets certain standards.
That's right, we do.
We don't do that for our own tanks. We make sure that our cars have insurance. But we can run the car into a tree and not be able to we can get the car fixed and not be able to fix us.
Not be able to get medical care.
Right.
Sure.
So, I mean, when we think of all the things we do for a thing,
Right.
isn't it much more important to see that we do those same things for ourselves and our families?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
it's a
that's-
problem with prioritization.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it's also a problem with knowledge and education. I bet you probably ate 5 or 6 things in the last day, and you don't know what's in them.
That's probably right. That's probably right. I don't look at the labels. I
And if you
pick
did-
what I want, and you know, and of course I'm always busy, so I'm eating on the run and all kinds of stuff, which
Right.
always leads to poor choice.
Yes, it kind of does. I'm actually teaching a class now it's a diabetes prevention class. And it's for people who are pre-diabetic and to help them find out how not to become diabetic. Diabetes is now an epidemic, really.
Yeah.
Especially
among kids, right?
among kids and especially among our kids.
I mean, the African American kids, right? Absolutely.
It's really skyrocketing. They're estimating an additional 500,000 new cases being diagnosed each year. And that's among the folks who are under 40 years old. The interesting thing is because the baby boomers have gotten into preventative care,
Right.
the folks 50
They're
and
doing
older
better.
are actually doing better.
Right.
The folks who are really filling up the wards now are the folks who are under 40.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're finding a lot of our young people are now dropping like flies.
Yeah.
The number of folks who are diabetic and don't know it is astronomical. We have a simple test that we do at Project Healthy Living sites for, it's called a hemoglobin A1C. It's a $10 test. And it checks to tell you whether or not you're pre-diabetic and moving towards diabetes.
Right.
And it checks your blood sugar over the last 3 months. So you can't cheat this test.
Right. Right.
And it'll let you know whether or not you are in danger. And what we're doing with our class, and it's a free class, and they have them in several places across the state, and it's sanctioned by the CDC, is we, for 16 weeks, help people understand what they're doing to their own bodies
Right,
and how to be healthier.
Well, and those numbers in terms of diabetes, that's almost all diet fueled, correct? Diet and lifestyle.
It's a combination.
Yeah.
You have some things that are genetic, but you have 2 kinds of genes. You have the genes that are dictators,
Right.
things like the color of your eyes,
Right.
you know, the color of your hair. Those things you can't really do anything.
can't do
unless
anything
you,
about
unless
it,
you
right.
use Clairol or something. but those are dictator genes. The other genes for things like diabetes, for hypertension, for a number of other diseases, for most diseases, are actually kind of more like committees and suggestions.
Right.
They're tendencies.
Right.
And so
You are more likely to.
we're more likely to have this.
see this, right.
But we trigger a lot of those things with what we do or don't do.
Right.
And right now we have a tendency to tell children that they should sit still in class. They shouldn't have gym. We've taken a lot of the activities
Taking a lot
out.
of things out.
And we've removed the children's work really is play.
Yes.
And we've taken away their jobs.
Yes.
And we now want them to sit still, to be quiet, don't go
To
outside.
be like adults,
Yes.
right.
And be like old adults.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
In fact, old adults don't
Sit
there
around.
still. Exercise with your thumbs and don't actually go out and do activities. Don't get involved. It's dangerous outside, so don't go outside. And as a result, we are raising a group of young people that for the first time in the history of the world
Right. Will be less healthy than their parents.
have a shorter life expectancy
Shorter lifespan,
than
really.
their parents.
Yeah.
And that's only in America. That's not even in other countries around the globe.
Right.
In America, where we have the best and the greatest and the most access to everything, our kids are going to be dying off faster.
Yeah.
In Michigan, the statistics are that 1 out of 2 kids that are between the ages of basically 17 to 38 right now are young people between those ages. They're expecting 1 out of 2 to die prematurely from preventable diseases.
Right.
And so when you start adding that in with things that are not preventable, you know, and things like suicides and homicides and flu and all these other things, we're probably going to lose a major portion of that generation.
Yeah, yeah.
To
Which
a
is, I mean,
lifestyle.
it's just, that's just stunning.
Yes,
You
it's
know,
scary.
when you sit and think about that, like you said, that's not true in other countries. It's true here in the wealthiest country with the most access and resources
Right.
and things in the world.
So one of the important things for them to do is to come out, get
Come
screened.
out, come to these screenings.
Come to
that's right.
Project Healthy Living screenings
Yeah.
and call us. Let us help you find places to get screened.
Right, right.
You need to know what's going on. Start coming to some of the classes. Get some more information about what you need.
Okay. Well, great program. Great to have you here, and good luck.
Thank you, and you stay healthy.
Yes, I'm trying. That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org. And as always, you can connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time on American Black Journal.
At DTE Energy, we believe that we have a greater responsibility. We believe that being part of a community means being involved in the fabric of that community, investing time, effort, and resources in the communities we serve. DTE Energy Foundation is a proud sponsor of American Black Journal.